Hey guys, and I hear from Fox 8. You know, from the Steelers losing the big game to a lukewarm performance by the Black Eyed Peas, there were a lot of memorable moments at Super Bowl 45. But the talk of the town, of course, is what Christina Aguilera did, or let's just say she didn't do, when performing the Star Spangle Banner.
The perilous fight.
Now, for those of you who saw it, Christina messed up with singing, of course, our national anthem, and it stirred a lot of buzz on the web. People are rather furious by her lack of performance, her lack of good performance within everything at the big game, but it's created such a debate of whether or not, you know, she's American, and how patriotic can you be by not knowing something that everybody should know. But I am here to defend our girl, Christina. You know, I've grown up with Aguilera over the years, been a big fan of everything she's brought to the music world. It's just one of those things that mistakes do happen. And of course, she's not the first person to make a mistake with performing the Star Spangle Banner, performing our national anthem at the Super Bowl. She's certainly not going to be the last. When she was singing the song, what she did is she messed up. She was singing a line within the Star Spangle Banner, and she had repeated basically the line before because maybe she forgot, or I don't know, whatever happened, but she did mess up. It was noticeable, of course, on camera when you're watching the screens with the other players that they brought on camera. You could tell they're all looking around like, what just happened? But, you know, everybody was really curious as to what all was going on. And of course, there was a big buzz on the web. People were tweeting and talking about it on Facebook, but people were just rather furious by what she did with this year's performance. But, you know, as a person in the media business, and as a person who has also performed the Star Spangle Banner, I'm going to tell you, it's not the easiest job in the world, and believe me, it's a mistake that can happen to anybody. Back in high school, I was a soloist within the band. I had actually, I was first chair within the trumpet section in band, and it was something I was mighty proud of. Being a brass instrument player, though, did take its toll. When I was performing the Star Spangle Banner at a high school assembly, I had messed up just as much as Christina. What we were doing earlier that day was we had band practice, and you know we'd spent hours rehearsing different things for our big game, our big homecoming coming up, and so I was performing a lot, and as a brass player, you use your lips to make your pitch with how you play. And so after a while, because you use your lips so much, your lips just become tired, you know, they become mushy. And so we're getting ready to perform for the assembly, and I'm getting ready to play my big solo with the Star Spangle Banner, and you know my part's the dun 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 dun, and so I was getting ready to play it, and I'm going dun dun, and then I'm trying to go dun, but I didn't hit it. I was like dun dun, and I just didn't play my note, and so it went dun dun. Dun, dun, dun. And so I played the rest of my part, but not the high note. And, you know, of course, my band director, Mr. Brody, I just remember him looking at me like, what the heck is going on, Annette? And I'm just like, I'm sorry. You know, my lips were tired, and after a while, that's just something that it's going to happen to every performer out there. You're going to make those mistakes. And so I was hoping that, of course, people would maybe imagine, you know, that high note in their head. Because when people hear the Star Spangle Banner, we know what the song is. We've heard it maybe in elementary school, throughout junior and high school, you know, whenever we watch any type of major league performances. And so it's just become a big part of our culture as Americans. But the thing is, do you truly know the lyrics to the Star Spangle Banner? It became a question for me, especially. You know, today I was thinking, I'm like, gosh, you know, she messed up. And Christina, a phenomenal performer out there in the music business. I mean, nobody really tops her in terms of talent, especially for those around her age. You know, for years, she'd been compared to Jessica Simpson and Britney Spears, but really, in my mind, and I'm sure many of you agree, they don't match the type of quality performance Christina brings into the scene. And while Christina did make a mistake, I think it was a real honest mistake. You know, people are just, they're so floored by it. But how well do you know the Star Spangle Banner? I mean, think about it. Before you even go and Google or whatever you do to find these lyrics, sing it to yourself or play it in your head. And just think, you know, do you know the words verbatim? For me, I was rehearsing this earlier in my head. I knew how to play it on trumpet, But I was like, I'm like, okay, I know the words. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? And so I'm keeping going, I'm going. And then I'm like, gosh, I could see how she could interchange these words. And by her performing a little differently, of course, the artists at the Super Bowl, they like to put their own little spin on the songs. Nothing wrong with that, but I think that, of course, did have a little bit of an influence on her mistake this year. But, Christina, a great gal, inside and out. I think she has a lot of personality, a lot of flair to bring to the music business. As of recent, she's also had some hard times as well.
What's the proposal exactly?
Just yes or no.
One of her latest albums that came out hadn't matched up to the other releases she had out there. In addition, Burlesque debuted this past year, a musical. It didn't do so well in terms of quality performance at the box office compared to all the others out there. So she's had a little bit of hard times recently, but our gal Christina, she does so well otherwise, and I am so proud of her. And it was a mistake. It's an honest mistake. It could happen to anybody, and unfortunately, it happened to her. Yes, she's a professional, and she should know how to perform, but it's just one of those deals that, I doubt the girl did it on purpose. And with that, we just need to forgive, forget, and move on. And we'll just have it as one of those performances that, wasn't necessarily her best, but I expect that we'll have many other out there that we'll be proud of with Christina.